Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start with the daily for Bitcoin here, where we are still looking at our channeling here in the bull run 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and of course finished potential wave 1. And after wave 1, we are looking at a potential ABC expanding flat for wave 2. Yesterday we got some price action, which is it has signified somehow a little bit more probability for lower, because we got, of course, invalidation there for the bullish, right? We were start to see a rebound toward the upside, and we got kind of like invalidation for it by a drop toward the downside. So that means, of course, a signal somehow for weakness again, of course, that Bitcoin might still move toward the downside. Currently in this top after an A, wave B as well, and we're looking for a wave C. This wave C is currently as a 1-2 and another 1-2, and potentially we continue to drop down. What we would like to see regarding these channels, and especially this blue channel, that the price gets out, of course, of this channel. As you can see, rejection still given several times here, but it has formed an impulse and finished, and potentially this is your wave 2, and yesterday we got rejection again, and we might, of course, drop down. This time we might break it, and if we break it, we pass, of course, towards the base channel here. By breaking the base channel, it's going to be very fast towards the downside, guys, for a bear market in a wave C to finish, of course, wave 2, which is, of course, almost a very fast bear market, because, of course, this bear market has started since a very long time in January 2025, which is the first month of this year. And you were in a bear market knowing that you got a new highs, that because, of course, of the expanding flat wave B, which is a very nice opportunity for the first time for Bitcoin due to a healthy market, I would say, for the crypto this cycle, and not like every single cycle before. This is the first or the healthiest cycle ever for crypto market, I would say. And therefore, the bear market is going to be very shallow, very fast, and we're going to start a new bull run very soon once we finish this just one drop, and then we start, of course, a bull run towards the 200K and above it. Currently, what I'm watching, of course, is this channel to be broken, of course, because I need to see if this expanding flat will continue towards the downside, having, of course, an A, B, and a C here in the yellow round scenario. The targets are, the common one, are between, of course, the 67 or 68K and a 74K, 1.618, 1.38 for an expanding flat. The most common is, of course, the 1.618, which is in confluence as well as a very, very strong area here as a support, plus, of course, in confluence with the 0.38 fib level, which is the minimum requirement for a wave 2, which is going to be a perfection area here to start a bull run. And that means, of course, the things has to continue, of course, whether we are in several 1-2s, we drop down very fast for a wave 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, or we are in a diagonal here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 1, finishing wave 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, which it might take, of course, a little bit more time here to unfold something for lower prices. So also we gotta be careful in case that we are in a formation. This is new today, by the way, to keep it in mind, in case we are in a formation of a diagonal as well. Is very interesting to be watched, of course, because this might be your leading diagonal for wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 toward the downside. Another possibility, which we still have one possibility for bullish here, right, which is still, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. However, because the wave 4 has hit perfectly the targets right now with a blue box and the perfect fib levels for a wave 4 in diagonal, what you would like to see here is a zigzag. Now, the problem with this zigzag wave C is that you have interfered with the zone 1 as a wave 4, which is not allowed in a zigzag, because an impulse, of course, has to be free there without invalidation, and currently we got invalidation, unless the things are going also in a small ending diagonal here, meaning A, B, and a C, and this was your zigzag wave 1. You're looking for a zigzag wave 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to range very slowly and boring, in a boring way here inside this area, of course, and finishing kind of like an ABC in a wave 4. And that means, of course, you might still have a wave 5 towards the upside here. So I'm gonna mark also this diagonal. Diagonal is different than the one that we had in the previous scenario, because the difference is that the previous scenarios, the diagonals start from there: 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? But this diagonal actually starts from there, which is, this is your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So there are a lot of differences here, and that because, of course, if you start here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as diagonals, this is your wave C in an A, B, and a C. The previous one is, of course, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 1 here. 2, 3, 4, and a 5 drop down, right? So this one is, of course, drop. We move towards the upside after, of course, a potential diagonal here for a wave C. So this is the difference. Those two scenarios are to be watched today because they start to get closer to each other's, of course, and I start to see something like that would be unfolding here, kind of like a diagonal, leading diagonal or ending diagonal. In this case, we are in the ending diagonal, while in that case, which is of course bearish, you are in a leading diagonal, which is gonna lead an impulse toward the downside. While this one is gonna end up, of course, a wave C here, ending diagonal to end up a correction, and then we move towards the upside. So this is the difference. This is what we gonna be watching for the next days, guys, for Bitcoin. Okay, so now for the 2 hours chart, what we are looking for here is exactly a correction. Yesterday, we saw, of course, that as W, X, and a Y potentially finished here even as an ABC, can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, despite that the wave 4 is shallower in time than the wave 2, but still can be. Yeah, still can be a finished one. And then you're looking here potentially, of course, for a 3 waves, and you're looking already here at the 15-minute chart. If you want to see it clearer, you're looking at a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. Finished wave 1 yesterday. And currently, probably you are again, of course, in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of course, also that is a kind of like potential bullish scenario here that it might be unfolding, but very, very hard to say. And that because of this impulse right now, that it suggests at least ABC. And if in case we get an ABC in the zone area, well, okay, I'm gonna put the potential targets that you might get. And that means, of course, if we break it, because it's going to be only testing areas and not targets. And that means, of course, if we come to this area and we start to see a signal of strength, well, we might reshift toward the upside. How? It can be, of course, a 1, 2, another 1, 2, but after an ABC here, 1, 2, and then we move for higher. Very low possibility, first because of this action here, price action is not looking good. Plus, starting with a 1, 2 smaller than the second 1, 2 is not also so often. Yeah, so it reduces the possibility a little bit. So higher possibility is, of course, for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might break this area. I believe, of course, that we might move or shift towards the downside. And that means, of course, yeah, it might unfold the bearish still as higher possibility. Yeah, so we're gonna see, of course, what's gonna happen after this wave 2. And of course, we need the key level for some confirmation that we're not bearish here. You need, of course, to take the high again. So you need to take this high again and take like above and even confirmation for bullish later on. But you have to start from there. If we are bearish, very bearish, if we break the 98K 455, that means, of course, we are eliminating even a possibility for ultimate bullish scenario, which is, of course, very high, and I doubt it so much. But if we break, of course, later on this key level, 95K 600, that means there is no bullish scenario in our pocket. We drop down very fast toward the downside, 70K and around. That was it for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.